Midnight Protocol, from Lucas Studio and Iceberg Interactive, is one of those rare games that'll grip you from the moment you launch it. The entire game is played only using your keyboard, and, surprisingly, this works ridiculously well. So is Midnight Protocol worth playing though? Well, that honestly depends on how much patience you have, and we'll get to the details shortly. In Midnight Protocol, players take on the role of Data, a doxed hacktivist that's been caught, imprisoned, and is now released on parole. As Data, you'll be back in touch with your hacker friends and seek revenge against the person or the group that outed you in the first place. This plot might sound a little cliched, but the way it's told, via emails and other messaging services, feels organic and believable. Players will slowly learn more about the overarching story and the game's hacker-centric dystopian nightmare world through all these emails and other intel that shows up as you play. Also serve to bring you back up to speed quickly so you understand who the character is you're playing as. These early missions also serve as tutorials and slowly teach you the turn-based mechanics that are required to hack your way through the systems in Midnight Protocol. The basic gameplay in Midnight Protocol involves typing commands to intrude further into a network of nodes. Each level effectively has a timer in place, in the form of a trace, that players will have to work against while taking turns hacking further and further into the network. Each turn lets you use a specific command from a list of predefined commands available to you while you're sitting on a node. As an example, you can enter the move command to jump to a different node, or you can interface with the current one to try perform a specific action. Examples of these include draining credits if you're sitting on a financial node, or perhaps downloading data when sitting on a data node. Of course, the trace program is always running, so the bulk of gameplay revolves around carefully using your turns and ensuring you complete your specific objective before being detected. Of course, things might start out easy, but the game becomes progressively harder, with more obstacles and problems thrown in your way. Although early levels contain multiple unprotected nodes, soon you'll start encountering intrusion countermeasure electronics, otherwise known as ICE. The presence of ICE really complicates matters, as levels may contain ICE at random, and the only real way to know if there is any ICE blocking your path is to either detect it using a sniffer command, or to get caught while trying to move through a node. As you progress, the levels in Midnight Protocol become extremely tense affairs, with the trace meter being an ever-present threat, pressuring you to complete your objectives quickly. As you progress even further, later levels introduce an even more problematic factor to consider: sysop. Sysop, or System Operator, is extremely detrimental to your progress, and can fill your trace meter super fast with a scan if you happen to be detected by them. Players will need to make use of all their abilities to evade a sysop while trying to still achieve their goal within the network. Thankfully, Midnight Protocol allows players to buy and equip various upgrades, which they can use within a network to help them achieve their goals. These upgrades are unlocked by means of racking up white hat, grey hat, or black hat hacker points, and then purchasing them with the earned credits. White, grey, or black, these points correspond to the moral choices you make during the game. To give an example, hacking into a financial node and stealing credits in a mission where all you're supposed to do is gather data will net you some black hat points. On the other hand, if you can expose something corrupt or illicit in a mission, then you'll earn yourself white hat hacker points. Of course, in the grey world of hacking, nothing is cut and dry. The game's story deals with some incredibly well-written and intriguing plot points that kept me coming back for more. As you deal with multiple characters over the course of the game, you'll see the consequences of your action play out based on how they interact with you in future missions. So if you've been keeping track, the basic gameplay loop involves infiltrating a network, interfacing with nodes of importance, and getting out as quick as possible, all the while avoiding ICE, sysops, and any other potential hazards. It's not easy, and you'll fail quite a lot in Midnight Protocol, but thankfully, before things get out of hand, you can make use of a rollback function that instantly restarts the level. This can occasionally benefit you if the ICE is randomly placed somewhere else within the network, but it's not something that should be relied upon too much. This ultimately means there's a degree of randomness that not all players will enjoy, but the developers seem to have stuck with this design to ensure people couldn't just complete each stage by trial and error. Another element that might turn off players is the turn-based nature of the gameplay. You'll spend a considerable amount of time waiting for your own turn to play out, and if there's a sysop present, you'll have to wait for their turn to complete as well. Graphically, Midnight Protocol looks great, but it sticks to UI elements that suit the type of game, going for a minimalistic look. That said, there's a stylized look to the nodes, the network map, and different functions that operate within the system. Ice looks particularly gorgeous when it activates, including scorpions and walls to block your progress, but then so too do your own commands, such as Dagger, Harpoon, and Jackhammer, all designed to break through these defenses. Ultimately, despite the simplistic design, Midnight Protocol absolutely nails its aesthetic. Unfortunately, there isn't any voice acting in Midnight Protocol, with the entire story being told through text both inside and outside the missions. Midnight Protocol does use several visual aids to help with storytelling. Think flashing lights, glitch effects, and more. So if you suffer from epilepsy or are sensitive to flashing lights, please heed the warning given at the start of the game. When it comes to the audio, you've also got a great soundtrack that provides some great backing music to each level, or complements the themes being discussed in the story, all adding to the game's atmosphere. Overall, Midnight Protocol is an extremely solid and impressive indie title that dips into the futuristic cyber dystopia world we're currently barreling towards. Hacking into fridges for information has never been more fun, and we highly recommend Midnight Protocol if you're a fan of games that involve strategy and force you to think about your actions ahead of time. If you're on the fence about this one, you can also check out the demo available on Steam. Give it a try and see for yourself how great this game is.